Let's talk about Pokemon Go. All right, so listen, check this out, man. Pokemon Go, crazy story, man. Now, I feel like a lot of people kind of knew this. I like if you're playing, okay, if you're playing a game like Pokemon Go, I need you guys to understand that anything that utilizes real world data or GPS locations or anything like that, they're taking your data, right? Like one way or another, they're taking your data, right? But people didn't realize like how extreme the data was actually being harvested and what it was being used for, right? I think most people understand that data is being harvested by real world location style video games like this. And Pokemon Go is not the only game that does this. Obviously, there are other video games that do this. But apparently, Niantic actually went so above and beyond. They harvested everything, right? Literally everything. So let's read this post because it kind of breaks this all down. As to just how crazy this actually is, right? So this post came across social media and it says, this is wild. 143 million people thought they were catching Pokemon. They were actually building one of the largest real-world visual data sets in AI history. Niantic just disclosed that photos and AR scans collected throughout Pokemon Go have produced a data set of over 30 billion real-world images. Guys, whoo, this number is fucking crazy. Like, again, I think people understand that there is some sort of data harvesting that's happening with video games like this and games in general, whatever, but 30 billion real-world images. We're not talking about 30 billion screenshots of the game or whatever. We're talking about 30 billion real-world images, right? So the company is now utilizing that 30 billion real-world images to basically make data to power a visual navigation AI for delivery robots, which is pretty wild. Players didn't just walk around with their phones. They scanned landmarks, storefronts, parks, sidewalks from every angle at every time of the day in lighting and weather conditions that stage photography would never capture. They documented the physical world at a scale no mapping company with a fleet of vehicles could have replicated on the same timeline or budget, right? So basically, it allowed them to do something that was basically impossible without that kind of manpower. They convinced people to work for them for free, essentially, which is pretty insane. Niantic collected this systematically, data point by data point, across 8 years, while users thought the only thing at stake was catching a rare Charizard. The most valuable AI training data sets in the world aren't being assembled in data centers. They're being built by people who have no idea that they're building them. Now, again, I would be curious to see if there's any, not like a lawsuit, but if there's any kind of disclosure or something that they have in their, EULA or something that will say that this is what it's being used for. But we're talking about 8 years of free labor powering some mega corporations new technology that will allow them to make even more money, right? It's actually very interesting and it's actually very smart. Like, as much as people want to say that this is crazy, this is fucked up, this is whatever, this is actually extremely intelligent, right? To be able to do something like this is unbelievable, and to do it in 8 years is even more unbelievable. And then to do it without people even realizing it's happening. Now, to be fair, a lot of the people that play Pokemon Go are probably on the younger side, so they really either don't care or, are just oblivious to what's going on. But that's pretty crazy, right? That's pretty insane, the level of scale that they were able to achieve, right? So this came from a post from News Force, and it says Pokemon Go players train 30 billion image AI map. Niantic says that photos and scans collected throughout Pokemon Go and its AR apps have produced a massive data set of more than 30 billion real-world images. The company is now using that data to power visual navigation for delivery robots, letting them identify exact locations on city streets without relying on GPS. So let's see what this video actually says. Let me put up the volume. Here we go.
Okay, so it turns out the Pokemon Go era wasn't a collective mental breakdown. It was an unpaid internship. Every single person who wandered into a cemetery at midnight, walked into a lamppost, or stood in the rain outside a Walgreens for 20 minutes trying to catch a Snorlax was actually doing data entry for the robot economy. No V2, no benefits, not even a thank you email. Niantic Spatial, the AI spun out from the company that invented the reason your uncle fell into a fountain in 2016, just revealed it has been sitting over 30 billion crowdsourced urban images this whole time. Every Pokestop photo, every IR snapshot, every I need to physically walk to this location moment has been quietly stacking up into the most detailed street level data set on the planet. That dataset is now training a special AI that can look at a random street corner and know exactly what it is within a few centimeters. Your
It's crazy.
parasocial relationship with a fictional electronic mouse accidentally built the navigation system of a future. Slay, first beneficiary pizza robots, Niantic partnership with the Coco Robotics to put over 1,000 little delivery bots on the sidewalk of LA, Miami, and Helsinki. These bots have abandoned GPS entirely. Reasonable, giving the GPS inside a dense city full of tall buildings is basically a suggestion. And
So she said, if I'm understanding her correctly, it's a little bit difficult, but I think she said there's going to be a little over 1,000 robots to begin with. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, guys. Maybe I'm just not understanding, or maybe I forgot. But didn't Niantic sell Pokemon Go? Didn't I'm gonna look that up right now. I'm almost positive. Did Niantic sell Pokemon Go? Yeah, they sold Pokemon Go along with its entire gaming division to Scopely for $3.5 billion. Does anybody find that to be a little bit suspicious that after they harvested all the data from Pokemon Go, then they sold Pokemon Go to another company and their entire gaming division? Almost as if this wasn't even about the video games to begin with. They just wanted to harvest this massive fucking data asset that they could then utilize to do what they really wanted to do, which was, I guess, robotics. I don't know. That's just a little bit. It brings a little bit to light more to that story, about them selling.
switch to visual positioning instead. The bot looks at the storefronts and carves around it.
And then by selling Pokemon Go and their entire gaming division to Scopely, they made almost $4 billion. That's almost $4 billion they can utilize to start up another division or business. Like robots, for example. Damn.
Matches what it seems against the map that Pokemon players built over a decade of unhinged behavior and knows precisely where it stands. Your order arrives at your actual door and not at your neighbor's house where the blue dot decided to live. The data loop is where this gets genuinely interesting. Every time a Cocobot rolls down a sidewalk, it feeds fresh imagery back into the system. Storefronts change, construction appears, new obstacle materialize, and the map update is in near real time. The more the robots move, the smarter the map gets. Niantic is essentially building a living digital twin of every city it operates in.
So now the robots can scan fresh imagery that will update whatever they already have in their system from Pokemon Go. And then the more robots they have, the more like this is crazy, bro. Oh man, this is interesting. I'll say it's very interesting stuff. Very smart.
Updated continuously by the robot using it. Whatever owns that map owns something that looks increasingly like the operating system for physical reality. GPS has been the default for navigation for 30 years and has always been terrible the one thing robots actually need. Knowing exactly to the centimeter where they are on a specific sidewalk next to a specific building.
Bro, Skynet is totally going to fucking like destroy us. Skynet is going to destroy us, boys. Like the nuclear bomb is going to be sent in within 10 years or less, and it's over, bro. It's over. It's where is John Connor? Save us, man.
Visual positioning fixes that. The delivery bots are the first use case. The technology underneath is the whole game.
Actually, Yamato makes a really good statement that is pretty much been true the entire time, right? Which is if a product is being offered for free, especially in today's world where it is all digital, if a product is being offered for free, then what does that mean? That means you are the product, right? That means like you as the person, your information, your whatever, like you are the product. If it's being offered for free, that's always been the thing for a long time.
A few 100 million people did all of this voluntarily, for free, in exchange for cartoon animals that don't exist. The real legendary Pokémon was the geospatial training data we collected along the way.
Jesus Christ, man. Pretty crazy shit. So, I mean, ultimately, it's an interesting story. Nonetheless, something that I think a lot of people kind of knew was happening, but then when you see the scale that it is actually happening from, it blows your mind a little bit, you know? At least it blew my mind. Like, it's not that it's like shocking information. It's that it's just flat out insane the scope that they were able to accomplish with just 8 years of doing this. Now, when you think about how many people were actually playing Pokemon Go, actually, that's a good question. How many users did Pokemon Go have, right? So, according to this, Pokemon Go had approximately 110 average monthly users. Okay, we're not talking yearly, we're talking monthly. 110 million average monthly players and about an average of 5.4 million daily players, right? So when you think about that level of scope, it kind of makes sense as to how they were able to accomplish this in 8 years, right? Fucking crazy. The game supposedly peaked at around 232 million active players in 2016, but it has declined since then. But regardless, that's a lot of players, dude. That's ungodly. You know, why do people even play this crap, bro? It's because people just like free shit. That's what it is, man. People like free shit that is tied to IPs that are not normally free, right? Pokemon games are not exactly known for being cheap in terms of how much they cost when they sell them. So when somebody says, hey, here's a Pokemon game that you could play for free with your phone and you can go do whatever, you know, people just naturally are going to be attracted to something like that, you know? So anyway, next you'll only tell me OnlyFans was just collecting female from images from every angle to train up AI girlfriends for us all. I wouldn't be surprised. I would not be surprised. Trojan horses everywhere. That is true. I feel used. Oh man, crazy story, guys. So I'll definitely follow up with this and see if there's anything more to learn from this. But I think that's pretty much like what we're gonna know for right now. The surface level amount of information. And I mean, again, don't ever be shocked. Like literally, don't ever be shocked by something like this because they're doing this. If you're playing a free-to-play game, they're getting something from you somewhere, somehow. And most likely it's going to be your data, right? Most likely. You are the product in some way, shape, or form.